Thunder in the Mountains takes place from Lonesome Pine International Raceway in Coburn, Virginia for the late model segment of the Dodge Dealers 215.
Tonight's Thunder in the Mountains takes place from the Lonesome Pine International Raceway in Coburn, Virginia for the late model segment of the Dodge Dealers 215. WYMT TV is proud to present the 30th anniversary of short track racing action at the Lonesome Pine International Raceway. It's the late model segment of the 215. Of course, this competition is part of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Milam, and joined by Michael Brown. And it's been about 6 weeks since we've been here, but one thing that we have realized here at the LPIR, it's the same day, same situation.
Wade Day has won every race he won. He swept throughout the month of June. Now, this will be the first race they've run in July. They were off for the 4th of July holiday, and then rain got him last week. But we'll see if Wade Day can pick up where he left off tonight.
He has dominated the entire series this year. Early on in the year, Danny O'Quinn gave him some stiff competition. Now it's Matt Wolf, who is in the second spot when you look at the points. Steve Blackman right behind. But a name that we're going to hear tonight is somebody that new to this track, Mike Looney.
Mike Looney from up the road in Catawba, Virginia. He's been running on asphalt for the past 7 years. This will be his first ever race tonight here at LPIR, and he's already gotten off to a good start. He bumped Wade Day from the pole.
When we come back, we will take a look at the pole positions, and we will get you ready for short track racing action here at the LPIR in Coburn, Virginia. You're watching WYMT Sports. We are here at Coburn, Virginia, as we get ready for the 100-lap late model segment of the Dodge Dealers 215. Now let's take a look at tonight's pole position and starting lineup. And on the pole with a lap speed of 16.463 is the new guy in town, number 94, Mike Looney. And everybody said before the qualifying that he would be the guy to push Wade Day.
That's right, Brian. And coming in, number 2 is Wade Day. He was beaten out by Looney by just about 0.02 of a second. That's how fast it was. So Mike Looney's 1, Wade Day is 2.
On the second row inside is the Prestonsburg native Steve Blackburn in the number 22 car, 16.523. And right behind him is the number 2 man in the point standings in the number 99 car, Matt Wolf of Johnson City, Tennessee, 16.573.
And at number 5, the inside of row 3 is going to be Eric McClure. He's done good here, Brian. He's had a good run. Then the Cup following week, he hasn't done so well. We'll see how he does tonight. And on the outside of row 3 from Abington, Virginia, will be the 2001 track champion here at Lonesome Pine, Mr. Brandon Nichols.
And then we have Larry Utzman, the number 23 car at 16.700 miles per hour. Or check that in the seconds for his qualifying time. He is on the inside there. And then there's Barry Crum, the Pikeville native, former Pikeville basketball player and Belfry Pirate. He sits at 16.757.
And in the number 9 hole with a qualifying time of 16.830 seconds, a Virginian from up the road in Abington, Mr. Caleb Holman in the number 17 car. On the outside of him in the number 53 car will be Butch Jarvis from down in Blountville, Tennessee.
And then we have the number 48 car, Brian Blevins, just a 16-year-old. He won his first race as a 15-year-old in this track a little more than a year and a half ago, the grandson of Paul Scholl, who will be in the number 40 car. We'll talk about him right now as they go side by side with each other in the 6th row.
And in the final row and 7th row, we got 14 cars running in this race tonight. Alan Hawkins from Kingsport, Tennessee, the number 77 car. He qualified with a lap time speed of 17.243. And then rounding out the field in the number 2 car, starting from the tail end of this race in the 14th position, Rick Cook will round out our field. He qualified a lap time of 17.39 seconds.
So there you have a look at tonight's pole position. When we come back, we will get you ready for racing action here at the LPIR in Coburn, Virginia. You're watching Mountain Sports. And welcome back to Coburn, Virginia for the 100-lap late model segment of this Dodge Dealers 215. The rain held off this afternoon for the most part. Early this morning we had rain. We did not know if we would get this race in, but we are now ready for the green flag with Mike Looney sitting on the pole position.
And just like that, it's going to be a battle up front all night long. Looney and Day touch going into turn 2. Brian, that might have just set the tone for the rest of the race.
Wade Day has dominated this series so far this year, and to be honest, he really is only had stiff competition in about 3 races this year, one of which we had early on when Danny O'Quinn was nose to bumper on him. But since then, Matt Wolf has been the toughest competition, but it looks like we're going to have a dogfight tonight as Day and Looney come into turn 4 with the second lap, and they are side by side.
Yeah, looks like they got equal horses under that hood. Day's still trying to get around him on the outside, but then when they come down the back straightaway and the front straightaway, Looney's right there beside of him.
Matt Wolf is 3rd right now. Steve Blackburn is 4th. And Eric McClure in the Dixie Pottery car is 5th. Barry Crum, the Pikeville native who played basketball at Belfry and then at Pikeville College, qualified much better tonight than he has in the past recent weeks. We have a spin out on turn 3, and it's Barry Crum, as we just mentioned, who had done so much better in qualifying. He is spun out, as well as another car we can't see at the moment. Looks like Alan Hawkins, who's on the inside lane.
Yeah, and Alan Hawkins caught his nose on the car of Crum, and then he came crashing down into the guardrail. So we're going to see if they can pull out the, no doubt, it's got some front structural damage on that car. Let's see if they can pull it out. Crum's trying to get turned around, but now Hawkins has got it in reverse, but you can tell by looking at the front of that car, nose is sort of buckled up on it. We'll have to see if he can get back into the race here.
And there you see both cars right there. Crum back out onto the track, who started on the outside row, outside of row 4, but Hawkins not moving inside near the entrance to the pit area. And we have some folks from the pit crew now running on their way towards Hawkins's car as he is not moving, and so we are under caution here at lap 4. And if you've watched the late model series this year, as you see Hawkins getting out of the car, the yellow flag, the caution laps do not count on the total, so we could be sitting here for a while as Hawkins inspects the damage.
Yeah, it's looking like the front left tire there, you see him pulling the sheet metal away. It's probably crumpled up against the front of that car, not allowing him to be able to turn it. So it looks like they're going to bring out the tow truck and probably pull him into the pits, and maybe he can get back underway here in a little bit. He's yanking the whole front left end of that car off, though. So if we can get a shot from that side, I know we got a guy up there in the trees. It looks like he's really been in on that front left.
So we are under yellow as Alan Hawkins, the number 77 car of Kingsport, Tennessee, spins out him and Crum, Barry Crum in the 02 car. There is a good shot of that front left view there of Alan Hawkins' car. Hog wild, not tonight, as ripping sheet metal
and I'm betting what he's going to do. He's torn that off, and he's telling that truck to go on, but it looks like he might have a little bit of overheating. I'm not sure. But they're still going to have to do some work. I don't think they're going to allow him to continue on the race that way, and I think he knows that. He's going to bring it down into the pits and do a little work on that.
So our first yellow flag of the night, our first caution flag. And if you remember last time that we were out here, not a lot of action. It was pretty straightforward driving with not a lot of competition up front. We're going to take a quick break, our first of the night. When we come back, we will resume this 100-lap segment here at the Lonesome Pine International Raceway. And racing getting ready to get underway, and we are back at green with Wade Day leading the pack. Mike Looney, the newcomer to the LPIR, is second. Matt Wolf third. Steve Blackburn fourth. And Eric McClure, the Dixie Pottery car, is fifth. And they are nose to tail pretty much down the back stretch. Barry Crum at the end of the pack, the rear after that accident with Alan Hawkins.
And one thing in talking with Wade Day before the race, Brian, he wasn't happy. They did qualify well. Obviously, they were bumped off the pole by Looney. He had thought that drivers have an option. They can go back after qualifying and adjust things on the car. But if they'd have done that, he would have gone to the rear of the pack. So he said, no, let's keep it like it is. Let's take our chances. We don't want to risk it right now. And who can blame him? The guy's luck's been phenomenal here. So he's been out front for most of the races during the season here, so why start at the back now? That would have been an extra challenge for Wade Day, if you will. Then he would have really been a legitimate driver. Not that he's not already.
Day has really had his way here, and it's been the same old thing, same old Day. As he comes around turn 3, now turn 4, and the leaderboard has not changed for the last 4 laps now.
Now, one thing that could get interesting late in the race, the number 96 car of Day, and that yellow car there just behind Looney is Day's teammate, Matt Wolf. So, you know, maybe some strategy will come into play if young Mr. Matt Wolf can get up in front of Looney and possibly do a Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip scenario, holding off the opposition to allow your teammate to get up to the front and win, pull home that checkered flag. We'll have to see, though. We've still got a lot of racing to go.
Day is starting to open up a sizable lead on Looney as he's starting to pull away. Day in the middle of the backstretch. Now Looney hitting the middle of the back, so he's got about a second lead on him, maybe. Yeah, about a second lead on him.
And one thing about this, it's drivers coming into new racetracks. It's like a basketball player, football player, what have you, going into another neighborhood, you know, and playing a different type of sport. Wade Day is familiar with this track. He knows the grooves inside and out. So this is going to take Mike Looney maybe just a little bit to get comfortable with this track. And in doing so, one would have to think that the advantage would definitely be with Wade Day.
In the back of the pack, the 02 car of Barry Crum passes the number 2 car of Rick Cook. Barry Crum now has Paul Scholl in his sights. And Wade Day is starting to really take the challenge, saying, come and get me. Here I am on the backstretch, as he has opened up even a larger lead on Looney, as the leaderboard once again has not changed. We are getting ready to hit lap number 14. As you take a look at Paul Scholl, check that. That's Brian Blevins and Butch Jarvis as they hit the stand. Spacing now, the drivers, of course, at that caution flag bunched together now. 8 laps after that caution, separation among a lot of the drivers.
And you just saw the number 2 car of Rick Cook. Day is about, let's say, a dozen car lengths behind, coming up on Cook, and he could be the first lap victim of the night. Already one car over on the sidelines, the number 77 car of Alan Hawkins. Actually, 2 cars are on the sidelines, I believe, but Alan Hawkins suffered the most damage in that wreck, so he is off the track right now.
Yeah, they're still looking at Hawkins' machine down on pit road as they have it jacked up on that left side. Taking a look at the left front as he was ripping sheet metal almost past his window.
Prestonsburg native Steve Blackburn right there, trying to have another successful run here on the track tonight.
Of course, it's Fan Appreciation Night here at the LPIR. 30 years of short track racing, and it's been a great celebration, a great day of racing. Some of the Mod 4s and the Grand Stocks were earlier, and really some intense racing. Bobby Gobble, a Pikeville native, and one of the members of the Pikeville Panthers football team from a year ago. He captured a checkered flag here earlier tonight. As Barry Crum, as Wade Day is now past Rick Cook. He is now a lap down, Rick Cook is, and Wade Day has Barry Crum in his sights. Once again, 100 laps. We've just reached 20, so we have a lot of racing to go. 80 laps, and Wade Day now passes Barry Crum, has Paul Scholl right in front of him, and his machine looks in tip-top shape tonight.
Yeah, this is another Wade Day looking night right here so far. He's opened up a good 20-car lead over Mike Looney, and Looney's coming up on some lap traffic, so that's only going to let him come further behind. So right now, Day's probably about a second and a half up on Looney.
Wade Day passes the stand, and now Looney does, so a sizable advantage as Wade Day now passes Paul Scholl. Paul Scholl, one of the few drivers, as someone said earlier tonight, he's forgotten more driving and racing knowledge than most people ever know about. He was one of the inaugural drivers here 30 years ago, so he really has a great appreciation for this track. Has been on it for 30 years, as tonight they are celebrating their 30th anniversary here in Coburn, Virginia.
And every time Paul Scholl comes out also, it's sort of a family affair, because Scholl's in the 40 car, and in the number 48 car, Brian Blevins is the grandson of Paul Scholl. So a little bit of history there. Another thing you were alluding to, Paul Scholl having raced here so long. There he is in the number 40 car, but also the driver of the number 23 car, Larry Utzman, his very first race at LPIR, Brian, 29 years ago.
And Barry Crum, the number 02 car, pulling into the pits. The yellow car pulling into the pits. No caution flag but Barry Crum not satisfied with his car right now. Will take it in, and we don't know. He has not been driving well since that accident with Alan Hawkins, since they touched at turn 3 about now 19 laps ago. He has pulled his machine down into the pits, and no one attending to his car at the moment. And no one needs to attend to the car of number 96 Wade Day. There is Barry Crum, who now has someone come over to his car. And we wonder if Barry Crum may be finished for the night.
And Wade Day this time around, he takes lap number 28, and he is about a full 4.5 seconds in front of the second place car of Mike Looney.
You see Wade Day, the number 96 car. Bailey's Cigarettes is his sponsor. Bailey's, there will be a Bailey's 300 here at the LPIR on October 5th. The winning purse. The winner takes home $7,500. It will be 300 laps of some great action. And as our big buddy Rick Jones down, or Randy Jones down the way here says, some of the best drivers in the Southeast United States will be here that night, October 5th. Mark that on your calendar. 30 laps complete, 70 to go. And it's been the same old story. Wade Day is now at turn 3 while Looney just passes turn 2. So he continues to widen the lead. There is Brian Blevins right on the tail of Butch Jarvis in the 53 car. It's Day, Looney, Wolf, Blackburn, and McClure. The leaderboard, the man who operates the scoreboard down there at the leaderboard, has had a pretty easy night tonight so far. And as most of the season is gone, he could pretty much just put a 96 in that first spot and leave it alone.
Yeah, and Wade Day, he got around the grandfather Paul Schul earlier. Now he's getting ready to, and he already has, lapped the grandson. 48, that is Brian Blevins. So Schul, Blevins, grandfather, grandson, victims of Wade Day.
Might as well keep it in the family.
Exactly. If you're going to do it, keep it in the family on the racetrack.
Day now passes Butch Jarvis, who is ahead of Brian Blevins, the 16-year-old driver. Most kids at 16 not thinking about a career in racing, and if they are thinking about it, not doing what Brian Blevins is doing. You have to take your hat off to him. A lot of guts to get out there with some of the best drivers in the short track racing series.
Yeah, he won his first race here at LPR when he was just 15 years old. Wasn't even able to drive a car on the roads, but he's out here racing. He's already bringing home the checkered flags.
Now 35 laps, and no one really pressing along, as it's Wade Day ahead of nearly everybody. He's driven into tomorrow. He's so far ahead of everybody. Looney and Matt Wolf a distant second and third. Blackbird from Prestonsburg, whose family said we need to talk about him tonight, comes around turn 4 and approaches the stand and the inside cameras. Followed by Eric McClure, Brandon Nichols. And as they come around turn 2 back there is the number 23 car of Larry Utzman, Bluntbill, Tennessee native.
And one thing let's talk about, Brian, as we're watching Wade Day, as we talked about in the beginning of the show, he has just been dominant at this track. This is a Winston. This is part of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, and for that, what people who may not be familiar with that is these NASCAR tracks. LPIR is a NASCAR sanctioned track. There's about 81 of them across the country, and they are broken down into regions. The LPIR happens to fall in the Atlantic region. So what that means, Wade Day, not only is he competing against his fellow drivers on the track here, but he's also competing against the drivers from the other tracks. What they do is they categorize them in regions. The winners of the regions compete against one another on a point standing basis. So one would have to think that Wade Day is well up there in the national contention is just as well.
And if we look into the pits, we were just talking about the 16-year-old Brian Blevins. He has now pulled it into the pits as some of his crew checking on the left side of his car. And Rick Cook was just flagged by the man of the stand just a moment ago. But he is still out on the track at the moment.
Yeah, I think he was just telling him you're getting ready to get lapped, so don't race the leaders. If you can let them get by, let them go on by you.
And Brian Blevins, as you well, almost saw it there, coming back out onto the track, out of pit road. And he is back onto the track. A lap down to Wade Day and Mike Looney and Matt Wolf as they pass him one more time.
Now, going back to what I was talking about Wade Day, how he is in sort of a championship against drivers all across the country. One thing, though, that could hurt him, and I'm not familiar with how many cars are driving in other races throughout the tracks who are in this NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, but one of the things that they determine on, sure, if you win a race, that's great, but it's how many cars you're competing against. And here at LPIR, he's usually only running against 12, no more than 15 cars. So he is winning the races here, but he's not competing against that many cars. But like I alluded to, we don't know how many other drivers out there across the country are racing against, but not taking away anything from what Wade Day has done here. He has just been dominant, and we'll have to check and find out exactly where he is in the national standings, because that could lead to a very big payday.
If you're in Eastern Kentucky at a service station in southwestern Virginia, northeastern Tennessee, you pick up any publication, racing publication, and you will see the number 96 car and Wade Day with a big smile on his face as he has become a regional champion. He is a regional favorite, and if you look at the crowd tonight, a lot of people wearing Bailey's hats, shirts, and all kinds of other memorabilia of the Bailey's products, as he has just really put on a show this whole season. And we've tried to build up the race that we thought this would be something that would go down to the wire, because we're still a long way away. But Wade Day has made this a playground for himself.
Yes, he crosses the line right now. It is a 50-lap race. We're halfway home. There you see part of the crowd. It is fan appreciation night. And you were talking about the popularity of Wade Day. They lined all the cars before the race, the late models, the modified fours, all of them up on the front straightaway before the race. Wade Day had a line about 10 or 20 deep the whole time, signing autographs, taking pictures with some of his fans. So no doubt he is one of the most popular drivers, not just in southeastern Kentucky, but also over here in Western Virginia.
Everybody loves to be on the winning side, and if you've been a fan of racing, then you've been a fan of Wade Day this whole year. Leaderboard continues to be exactly where it's at, and we're going to take a look at your leading car ticker as we take our quick break. Wade Day in the number 96 cars you see right there, followed by Mike Looney, who's well behind, Matt Wolf, Steve Blackburn, and Eric McClure. As we approach lap 53 here at the LPIR, we're going to take a quick break and come right back. You're watching Mountain Sports. Welcome back here to Coburn, Virginia. It's been all Wade Day as it has been all season, but we've got some outstanding racing behind him. As we see a lot of cars as they pass the stand, they are 5 nose to tail. Rick Cook is out there along with Butch Jarvis.
And Wade Day has to love that. He looks back. He can't see him, but the number 94 car of Mike Looney just stuck in a pack of traffic right there, right on the back bumper of Rick Cook. And Mr. Looney is just losing ground, and he's already lost quite a bit of ground, an acre or so, if you will, to Wade Day. But he continues to fall back, and he's got to have opened up Lee Bryan a good 15, maybe 20-second lead over his nearest competitor.
You know, Looney coming into this, you listen to people talking, they said, hey, qualified at Martinsville, 19th in the late model race down there, where a lot of other drivers had not qualified who are racing in this this race tonight. And a lot of people, the rumor mill was really going crazy before the race, saying this is going to be a neck-and-neck race, side-by-side race. And since about lap 8, it's been all Wade Day. As you know, you just play that record again. Just play it and let it go.
Yeah, and I think it's like you know, I might have talked about earlier, this is Wade Day's racetrack. Not that it's his racetrack. He's familiar with this racetrack. The guy knows the grooves. He knows inside and out. He knows where to put the car on the racetrack. And 9 times out of the previous 10 races, he's made his way to victory lane. So this is nothing new to him. But, you know, Looney comes in here with all those credentials, but still, you know, not to take anything away from him. He just might not be familiar with the track, and sometimes it can take a few laps to figure that out, and you don't have a few laps to figure something out when you're running against Wade Day, especially not here at Lonesome Pine.
Caleb Holman in the 17 car as they approach the stand was holding up Matt Wolf, who is now past Looney, as we have our first change in more than 50 laps on the leaderboard. So Wolf is now second, Looney is third. Blackburn of Prestonsburg. Steve Blackburn in the black number 22 car remains fourth. And speaking of fourth, there's Eric McClure in the Dixie Pottery car. He is fifth as we hit 62 laps. And it's been the same old song and dance for Wade Day. Pure domination. You know, he's got to think to himself, someone issued a challenge. Folks here, Larry Barbary, who puts on these great events every Saturday, probably had to say, maybe, Wade, you're going to have a little bit tougher competition tonight. He took it as a challenge and is just blowing away the field. As you see, Matt Wolf and Mike Looney, 2 and 3 as they approach the stand there into turn 1 and 2. Barry Crum in the 02 car, who pitted earlier, has pretty much cashed in his chips for the night, as has Alan Hawkins, who they both got together there in between turns 3 and 4 very early in the race. And Barry Crum, talking with him earlier, he said, you know, he's getting better every week qualifying, and then something like this happens. Has to be a disappointment to him, as he was expecting, was on the outside of row 4, started in 8th, and will finish this in 13th position tonight.
There you see Wade Day completing lap number 66 right there. There's the 4 car of Eric McClure. Talking about McClure earlier, throughout the month of June, McClure was up, he was down. The number 4 car has really sort of been a number 4 finisher also back on the 1st of June. Finished in 6th position, did a little bit better the next weekend, but then back on the 15th of June, probably had one of his worst races of the season. Barely finished in the top 10. He came in at number 9, but then sort of finished out the month strong, had a 4th place finish back on the 22nd, and qualified well tonight, and is hopefully going to be able to bring that car home with a top 5 finish this evening.
Tell you what, Wade Day now at lap 68. Wade Day is just now passing turn 2, and he has in his sights about 2 turns ahead of him Matt Wolf and Mike Looney. And very few times have those guys been lapped at any race, I guarantee you that. As Wade Day is now at turn 2, the other guys are at turns 3 and 4, so he has cut the track in half as he tries to lap them.
And what Wade Day does not want right now is a caution. He has spread his lead out to a very vast distance, so the last thing he wants is a caution and a single file restart to pull the 2nd and 3rd car up on his bumper.
The time before our last race here, we remember that Danny O'Quinn and Wade Day and Matt Wolf and Wade Day, caution flag hit with 2 laps to go, and you could sit there and see a huge lead dissipate very quickly. And you know that's what Matt Wolf and Looney and Blackburn and McClure and the rest of the field is hoping for, is somebody to spin out, because that would really make things interesting as we hit lap 72. Great camera angle we have for you this week, right underneath the stand, so you can see them coming at you and going by you. And speaking of going by, there's Wade Day going by Rick Cook at turn 3 and 4. You're watching the 100-lap late model race from the LPIR in Coburn. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't forget to mark your calendar for October 5th. Here at the LPIR, one of the biggest nights in the 30-year history of the LPIR. It's the Bailey's 300 $7,500 purse on hand, and they are anticipating possibly 25 drivers from the Southeast United States to be here, and that's one of those events that it's going to be spectacular. And they are inviting everybody to come out, as they do each and every Saturday night here at the Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. And it's been an experience and an education for all of us to come out for the last 3 months or so. We have one more race that will run in 2 weeks that we will show you on a tape-delayed basis, of course, on WYMT, your leader in mountain sports.
There you see the 4 car of Eric McClure making the pass right there on Rick Cook. McClure currently holding down the spot that he qualified in, number 5, as we approach just about 23 laps remaining the next time Wade Day crosses the start-finish line.
Of course, Bailey's is his sponsor, and one thing we spoke about a long time ago was that sometimes we see the cars get so spread out and some of the drivers kind of conservative. As we see Butch Jarvis and Caleb Holman touch a little bit in turn 4, as some of the drivers get a little conservative because they can't afford to repair the car as well or as quickly as somebody like a Wade Day or a Matt Wolf that has an outstanding sponsorship.
Yeah, well, no matter how many you've got sitting back in the garage, you definitely don't want to wreck the one that you're in at the present time. And for Wade Day, this is the car that he's been running with the engine for the first 10 races of the year, and it's put him in victory lane 9 times. So you know the last thing that he wants to do is put even the slightest scratch in that car. I'm not sure how superstitious of a guy he is, but he has got that machine running well, he and his crew, and it is very fine-tuned, and he's been very successful with it so far.
It's like a ball player with his glove or bat. Nobody touches it, nobody picks it up, nobody does anything to it but the man behind the wheel, and he has been just a joy to get to know and just a joy to watch out here as he has just made this his home away from home here at the LPIR. 81 laps complete. Your leader continues to be Wade Day. Matt Wolf in the number 99 car is second. There you take a look at Brian Blevins, the 16-year-old in the number 48 machine. As we have somebody pull down into the pits, looks like it's Butch Jarvis.
Butch Jarvis in the number 53 car, the Blountville, Tennessee native. Looks like he's got a couple of donuts on the right side of that car. Took some beating and banging out there. I don't think he had any beating or banging right there. Maybe he's just not happy with the way the car is performing. He's going to pull it in and take a look at it.
There's a great shot on that side of this 53. You can see the 2 donuts where.
Yeah, they're going to crack open the hood and go under that thing. Take a look at it.
Yeah, there you see right there at the 5 of the 3, 2 big black circles. And that shows just how intense this racing is at the LPIR, as it is with many places across the United States. The short track race, the short track, one of 81 short tracks around the nation, and it's certainly one of the best.
Here comes Mr. Wade Day crossing the line, and it is just 15 laps to go, Brian, and I'm sure he can taste victory once again. You think Larry Barberie just keeps Wade Day written out on the checks and he just signs it at the end of them?
You know, we could.
Or maybe it's just a direct deposit at this time of the season. Who knows?
They could just show the same picture from week 1 and can save the film and save a lot of extra work at the Dodge Motorsports
Pine. If
Victory
she's got a date, maybe she won't even have to come over to the track. Just stick that old photo in the paper.
But a positive for Wade Day and a negative for the rest of the drivers. When Jarvis pitted, there was no yellow flag that came out, so he got off the track.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Before any damage could be done to his lead. 13 laps to go as Wade Day is now approaching Paul Scholl, the oldest driver on the track, who's I'm sure has to feel very young when he's out there.
Yeah, you alluded to it. He's been here for 29 years. First short track race on this track was back July 22nd of 1972. So 30 years ago, and I'm sure all the folks who live around this area can, look back and remember. The track was still here, but obviously racing wasn't the popularity that it has done now. And since the Kinsers took over this track last year, they have really put a lot of money into it. I was noticing earlier today they've repainted a lot of it, got some new billboards up around the track. So our hats off to them for all they've put into this racetrack, and it's really starting to bring the fans back out.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job. Speaking with a gentleman earlier today, and he said that they bought the track and it was shut down a year ago. Not a lot of interest in this track anymore. Larry Barberie and the Kinser family, of course, they had the sources, the resources to make this track something special. Talking to one of the gentlemen, said that they had to get it ready in 4 days. The track, 3,300 gallons of sealant had to be on the track in 4 days, and they didn't know if they could do it, but they did do it. And that's why we are here tonight for great racing action, as they have done an outstanding job with this track this year. As you see, Steve Blackburn, the number 22 car, Prestonsburg's, the pride of Prestonsburg, and the Harley Davidson logo on the hood of his car. Of course, the Kinser, you talk about Harley Davidson, you talk about motorcycles, the Kinser family, great tradition in motorcycle racing. And if you ever get to go into the Kinser drilling headquarters down on Route 80, you go in there and you will see a museum of motorcycles all over the place.
Well, coming up in the next couple of weeks here also, if it's not this Saturday, it's one of the following Saturdays, they're going to have a motorcycle event here also with Hondas, Harley Davidson. So we encourage everybody to come out, and that should be quite a show also.
95 laps complete. Wade Day An enormous lead on the track. And the only thing he can ill afford to have is a yellow flag, but the way that the drivers are spaced out, it won't be any bumping and grinding maybe unless someone was to spin out.
And the only thing that's flip-flopped through 96 lap is the second and third position. Mike Looney had number 2. Matt Wolf was 3, but Matt Wolf has taken away that second spot from Mike Looney, and that's where he's running at right now, but he is well behind his teammate Wade Day, and that's pretty much how it's been for last time they didn't finish 1-2 in a race was back on the 8th of June. That's when Brandon Nichols in the 20 car finished in the 2 spot and Matt Wolf was 3rd.
2 laps to go as Wade Day has a comfortable lead as he goes around turn 3, now turn 4. There's 1 lap left. The white flag is out, and that means that barring catastrophe, Wade Day will be winning again, and he'll be in that Dodge Motorsports victory lane as he hits turn 3, now turn 4, and once again,
trouble on the
we
front
have
stretch.
trouble. Brian Blevins spins out right as Wade Day crosses the finish line. And what if that had happened a lap or 2 earlier? Wow, great timing for Wade Day as he crosses the finish line as Brian Blevins sits near victory lane, a place he'd like to get to eventually, pulls out and will finish the race. But once again, as you see some of the crowd, they start to get up, and a lot of people wearing jackets that says Bailey's as they are on their way to the Dodge Motorsports victory lane.
And you just got to think right now, Brian, if that number 96 car could drive itself to victory lane. It's been there so many times. It is no stranger. Congratulations once again to Wade Day. 10 times out of 11 races he has visited victory lane.
You're watching the 100-lap late model race from the LPIR in Coburn. We'll be back in just a moment. And several other drivers come in behind him. That's Matt Wolf, who will finish second in this 100-lap race. Mike Looney, the number 94 car, will finish 3rd as he now approaches the rear of Matt Wolf's car. And there's your 1, 2, and 3. After 100 laps, we are finally complete here as Wade Day captures yet another checkered flag and just another day at the office. And let's go down now to Rick Simler, the Indiana man who loves Indy racing, getting his chance for a little late model racing here at the LPIR. Let's go to Ricky with more from our winner, Wade Day.
I'll tell you what, we changed some stuff on the car and wasn't for sure if it's going to work. It wasn't the best in qualifying, but it raced pretty good. Guess we got to make up our mind which setup is fastest. It's hard for us to get up here and practice every week, and we just kind of try stuff when we get to the track, and tonight it worked out.
What stuff did you have to fix and why?
We changed the left front spring, softened it up a bunch, and just trying to get the car to stay level in the corner, to keep it on all 4 tires. You can keep all 4 tires on the ground, you're in good shape.
I noticed that first couple laps you had quite a battle there. To talk about that side-by-side racing you had.
I tell you, Mike, he's a good racer, good hard racer, and racing me clean. It's tough to get a run on the outside here. It's slick on the outside. Down the groove was definitely preferred position, but good enough he drove me clean, and I kept him pinched down on the bottom. Just kept enough momentum up where I had him here at that first caution.
What about way away? You just ran away from him. I mean, nobody even came close to you.
I'll tell you that. It's Townsend race cars, Joey Robinson race engines, Wolf racing team. Bailey's on board. You know, it's a team. It's a team sport for sure, and you know, we got a good setup at this racetrack, and it's working right now. And we keep it under our hats. Hopefully, we can keep doing this all year. But you know, all these guys are tough competitors, and I'm sure they'll figure it out.
You talk about how slippery the track was. Is that usually like that? I noticed a lot of cars were slipping on the track tonight.
This track, if you overdrive a car, it really abuses the tires, and I kind of take it. I don't drive 100% the whole race. I try to drive about 80%, and it seems to work this track. You know, the overall at the end is what counts, and it seemed to work.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Once again, we're in second. We've had a good car all year. Just nobody seems to be able to get the car hooked up as good as Wade. We tried a bunch of stuff in practice, and we decided not to try right before qualifying and switch back to what we've been running the last couple of weeks. It proved to be pretty good, just not good enough.
Talk about, are you surprised at how much he was able to run away from the field tonight?
I couldn't believe it. I think a lot of it had to do with lap traffic. We had problems getting through lap traffic. I guess for his car was just handling so much better up high. He could pass a lot easier, but we had a hard time getting by most of the lap cars. I say that's how he pulled away.
You had quite a battle though there for second all night. Talk about that.
Oh yeah, our cars. I thought I was going to have to run third there at the end, but our cars were real close there at the beginning, and he just kind of used his tires up, trying to stay out ahead of him. He kind of overdriving a little bit, and I was able to finally get around him.
Talk about this track a little bit. I noticed a lot of cars were slipping tonight.
They put a new sealer on it over the winter, and it's just, once it gets hot and you get a lot of cars on it and get rubber on it, it just starts to get greasy slick, and that's the problem most people have, is trying to figure that out, what to do to get their car to hook up. My car's like that, I'm sure it weighs a little bit, but you just kind of got to drive it.
A couple more questions. I know you finished second. Is it frustrating because you can't get that first, or are you happy with the second?
I mean, I'm always happy with second, especially if my teammate's going to be winning, but it gets kind of boring running second every week, and I don't know, I'm trying everything I can. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks we'll be ahead of Wade.
I know teammates, what do you take from him as successful as he's been? What do you take from his racing?
Well, he knows a lot about how cars work. He's been racing probably 10 years longer than I have. And he's helped me a lot to understand what the car's doing, like when the car's pushing, what to do to it. And, I mean, he's helped me a whole lot last 4 years. But right now, a lot of times, we share a lot of information. I'll try something, and I'll tell him if it works. And if it doesn't work, he won't try it. We just like switch around like that and try different things.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the LPIR, where it's another day at the office for Wade Day. His 10th win of the season out here, and really just blew away everybody around lap 8 or 9.
Yeah, newcomer in town, Mike Looney, bumped Day off the pole, but as like you said, about lap 9 or 10, it was all Wade Day. He got by Mr. Looney on the outside, and from there, it was all Wade Day because Mike Looney went back in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, just another opponent. Another one bites the dust for Wade Day as he has yet another win here at the LPIR. And just another great performance by the Bailey's number 96 team. That's going to do it for the crew here at the WYMT mobile unit here at the LPIR. Thanks once again for tuning in to the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series action at the Lonesome Pine International Raceway in Coburn, Virginia, celebrating 30 years of racing and featuring the late model event of the Dodge Dealers 215 right here on your Mountain Television WYMT. Don't forget, our next race that we will be covering here at the LPIR will be on August the 3rd, but we hope to see you here each and every Saturday night for great short track racing. For Michael Brown, for Rick Simler, and the entire crew that helped bring you this short track race, I'm Brian Milam, and good night from Coburn, Virginia.